How well would you say you knew how sex education worked?
How well educating for sex works, or
Why is it multiple?
my knowledge of sex education,
Yeah.
or how it was presented to me?
Yes.
No, those are two different questions.
Yes. And the answer to both is yes.
Hello.
Welcome back to
What's the Safeword?
I'm Amp.
I'm Mr. Christopher.
And today,
What are we doing?
hopefully we're getting educated
I am educated.
from the past. Remember that one time we watched the sex education video and it was like cyber sex, sex free. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
and didn't one have creepy dolls in it?
What's up with the creepy dolls?
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
So
There was one that had food too.
there was, and
I enjoy
you
food.
just remember it because there was food.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna take another trip down memory lane, which is the past, and react and review a few more
You dug up some more?
problematic, questionable sex education videos. As to sex educators, I feel like we would have the best, not only experiences with sex and sex education, but maybe the best takes when it comes to odd, strange, or just cringy sex education. And what better way to talk about sex education than thanking today's sponsor, Adam Mail, who makes sure that we not only have conversations about said things, but are also encouraging Masturbation Month, which is what May is all about.
So, but how long ago did you go back? Like the 50s, the 40s, the 30s?
Now, I was on the internet the other day, as you do, and found a link to a Refinery 29 article that happened to go over a bunch of old sex ed videos that were actually played in schools and or taught in front of students in schools. So thank you for revitalizing my interest in really bad old sex education Refinery 29, because today's video is all about reviewing and reacting to old sex ed. Now, as you know, Daddy, many different places in America have many different types of rules and regulations and laws around sex ed. Now, I can speak for myself. Mine was
And mine was...
Some places require abstinence only. Some places require not teaching medically accurate education, which is its own like little bubble of gross. Whereas outside the States, a lot of places around the world do a pretty decent job.
And some places just want to scare the shit out of you.
Real bad.
Now, today's first video comes straight from the 1950s, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate the 1950s than homophobia. 'Cause-
Wait,
yeah,
why is that celebrated?
no, we're not. Well, let's just watch.
Okay. Boys, beware.
That looks innocent enough, doesn't it? Lots of young people hitchhike. Seems like a good way to get from one place to another.
Daddy, how often did you hitchhike back in the 50s?
I don't think I have ever hitchhiked, and I never was in the 50s. So.
But let's see about the dangers of hitchhiking.
Sometimes there are dangers involved that never meet the eye.
Oh, really?
What do they meet?
So no matter where you meet a stranger, be careful if they are too friendly.
Oh.
One never knows when the homosexual is about.
Oh, because friendliness means homosexual.
Sorry, that's not funny. Anyway.
We are overly friendly.
Take the case of Jimmy Barnes. Jimmy played baseball all afternoon, and he didn't feel like walking home, so he decided to thumb a ride. And he didn't think anything was unusual when the driver struck up a friendly conversation. In fact, he seemed like a real nice guy.
Oh, he tapped his shoulder. How nefarious.
I don't understand these PSAs.
What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick. A sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious. A sickness of the mind.
Oh my God, where should they show this?
No, honestly, the only sickness that he has is possibly vision because he's wearing sunglasses.
Do you think they shaved his head for this?
This is so odd. PSAs like this.
They did nail the creepy vibe. They nailed it.
Was a homosexual. A person who demands an intimate...
Demands.
I don't think I demand. I'm pretty.
You're not very demanding.
I mean, not
when it comes to
homosexuals
intimate relationships. No,
Now, hungry bottoms, they can get demanding.
they're demanding.
So no matter where you meet a stranger, Be careful if they are too friendly, if they try to win your confidence too quickly, and if they become overly personal. One never knows when the homosexual is about.
Oh, wow. Wow. So you never know what a homosexual is about.
The video itself didn't really feature that much that happened. The kid got picked up in a car and then was
Patted on the shoulder.
This is one of those PSAs that circulated, I'm sure, back in the day to like warn kids of, you know, friendly people, which is just such a weird thing.
Like, obviously, stranger danger is a thing for kids. We should teach them that, but don't make it homophobic.
They actually made this. Where did they air this? Is this on television?
That's a great question.
I mean, there was no YouTube before.
No.
They put this in front of movies?
The moving pictures is what I think they called them back in the day.
No, it's very nefarious. I just don't know where they would air such a thing. But now I'm starting to understand, because my mother always told me not to hitchhike and not to trust strangers. When I was 15,
You
I
liked
was
older-
horny and
Yeah,
I wanted some action. I'm like, please, somebody pick me up.
But also, it does kind of reflect the current societal political climate that we're in. Like, PSAs like this would not be out of the question in certain states.
Well, I think that they would get a backlash doing this now, but in 5 years, I don't think they will.
They're already doing PSAs, though, for trans people and grooming.
Like watch out for the homosexual.
Yeah. Next video. Videos like these are scary, but then this next one is called
You, Your Body, and Puberty.
And
Oh,
Now
God, watch out for puberty.
well, yeah, watch
Now
out.
that's the toxic monster.
Hello, my precious little ravioli.
On YouTube, my favorite, and when I say favorite, I mean like I hate it, is that some of these kinds of videos are literally age restricted because they talk about your body changing. But who do you think puberty videos are for?
Pubescence.
Teenagers.
Right.
So if it's age restricted, who's able to watch those videos?
Pubescence.
Age restricted?
Not pubescence.
Are you listening?
I'm trying to.
Like, age restriction means so only adults can watch it.
Only adults.
So videos literally made by doctors for kids of a certain age can't even watch said videos. Anyway, this video goes on.
You, Your Body, and Puberty. In the bowling alley, Tyler rolls one of the heavy balls down the lane. The ball knocks down all the bowling pins.
Now this is not from the 50s.
No, this is definitely more recent,
Yes.
but that doesn't mean that it's not still kind of odd.
Vanessa bowls next.
Let's go, Vanessa.
She rolls her ball down the smooth, polished wood lane. She grins as the ball knocks down a couple of the bottle-shaped.
The two sex educators watched the odd video as the narrator told
Hourglass-shaped
them how to
pens.
feel.
Sure? Yeah. Hey, can I ask you something? Yeah, spill.
Sam and Tyler watch the girls.
Man, what are they talking about? No idea. Things, I guess.
Late
Thanks. It's a good conclusion.
So the
Good
kids
job,
are
Tyler.
bowling, what seems to be some sort of
Things.
double date. But Sam and Tyler are very interested in what the girls are talking about.
Yes.
Okay, for real though, it sounds like the girls are just talking about their bodies changing and the boys are really interested in what's going on.
Later, the kids leave the bowling alley
Tyler, is that you?
Hey, Dad.
and sets the table while his dad cooks dinner.
I wonder what Dad's making.
Hey, why does this have a creepy tone to it already? Like, I feel like there's about to be a gotcha.
I will say this one. Let's continue watching it.
Okay.
I don't think it's the worst, but it is odd.
Okay.
How's everyone?
Michelle and Vanessa are acting sort of weird, but
Tyler, you were literally staring at them. Don't be creepy, and the girls won't be mad at you.
other than that, fine.
Weird how?
They were just whispering all afternoon. Then when we said something, Vanessa snapped at us.
Did you ask them if there was anything wrong? Well, the girls may act a little different these days. They're going through some changes. You guys too, like the fact that you grew 3 inches in the last month.
Now, the video goes on, and there's just a lot of back and forth that's very, very meaningless between Tyler and his dad, which is not the worst.
Well, that, and have you ever seen a dad that super engaged when their son says girls were acting weird?
No, But also, my dad wasn't like, well, son,
Well,
you
son.
grew 3 inches.
You grew
Therefore,
3
women
inches.
are going to be strange.
No, that's creepy.
I remember 2 important things happening to me when I was about your age.
What is he whispering?
It got so. Uh-huh.
Okay, what are these 2 thirds? I'm a little worried.
He's so intently
He
looking
really
too.
is intense.
But okay, so if you think
He's-
about it,
he's
this is a sex
engaged father.
education
This
video.
is good.
He's engaged. Seems
Oh
to
my
be
God,
down
is
to
this
earth.
one of the homosexuals we were warned
No,
about earlier?
stop.
He's got the shaved head.
He
I'm
seems
telling
so
you,
nice.
It's the same person.
He seems so nice.
One was the first time I was unable to control my erection. When your penis becomes hard. And even though it would go away by itself before long, I would think that everyone saw it.
Can he control his erection now?
Stop.
He said he couldn't control it.
But back then, he's learned to
That's what I
control
want to know.
it.
Can he control his erection now?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe you should
Because
ask
I
him.
can't.
It was just much more noticeable to me than to anyone else.
Do I have to put up with this forever? It's embarrassing.
I know. But as you get older, you'll stop getting spontaneous erections.
At what age?
But
At what
wait,
age?
how did we jump to erections from the girls were whispering? Where did erections come up in this conversation?
They were talking about bodies changing, and the dad was very down to earth about how he remembers.
The other thing I remember was when my body first ejaculated. It happened at night while I was asleep. They officially call it nocturnal emissions.
Yeah, I didn't have this talk with my dad.
Yeah, no, I didn't either.
Did you ever have a wet dream though?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't ever remember having any, honestly.
Again, where are they showing this video? I mean, I never saw a video like this ever.
I never had a talk like this ever either.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a dad might have this conversation.
But I'm still confused about this setup. Why the girls whispering brought us to erection?
I think you're thinking too hard about
Well,
sex education videos that generally are a little too aggressive anyway.
I really want to know what they're whispering about. Give me the gossip.
But how would you grade this though, as far as like a snippet from a sex education video? It's kind of odd, but did you ever have this conversation with your parents or your dad for that matter?
No. But our sex education was really about procreation. That was it.
And this way, okay, this isn't doing a terrible job. It's a little weird. It's a little odd. The dad's a little too upfront with nocturnal emissions.
Well, and the setup is just so weird. I thought like one of the girls was going to come out as a lesbian or something. I was like, I mean, what was the secret they had?
This next one is called Who Am I Now? And I hope you are ready for your new favorite summer anthem, because it is another one of those from the 80s, I think late 80s, and it's really, well, yep.
Tambrands, take 3.
Hi, I'm Laura.
So there's this child opens up and they're live on like this set.
And I wanted to take a sec to tell you about the video you're going to see. It's really great, and it's not like those boring health films your mother probably had to watch in school.
It already is.
And also suck it, Mom, with your sex education videos that are boring and aren't sponsored by, did that say Tampax?
I didn't know what that was.
I don't know how you feel about, well, how do you feel about sex education videos that are sponsored?
I don't have a huge problem with it.
Like today's video by Adam Mail. Maybe you want to enjoy Masturbation Month with one of their masturbatory toys, or you want to get some action in the back end with a nice vibrating anal bead set or a prostate pleasurer.
They've been one of our longest running sponsors and they keep the lights on, so please support them by supporting us. And whether you want to get anal or just send good vibes, check out Adam Mail.
You can use offer code WATTS at checkout for 50% off almost any item
and free shipping on any orders over $20 in the US.
Certain exclusions do apply. Some toys come with remotes, some toys come with batteries, some are just nice glass or silicone toys that are perfect and body safe just for you and maybe a partner. So maybe you can use sex education videos like ours, or if you find and glean any information out of these to improve your own sex life.
Thanks, Adam Mail. And I also love all 80s films used to have this video light in the background.
Because they're live on set.
To show you that they are a film company. There's a light in the shot.
We're not like your parents, sex ed.
I mean, growing up is already tough enough. You've got
So
a lot of
true,
changes
bestie.
going on in your life. So, After this video's over, I'll be back to tell you about a free sample offer and who you can write to at Tambrands with any other questions that you or your mom or even your friends might have.
But I do find it interesting that back in the day, the only nicely produced, possibly educational videos were sponsored by companies that specialize in sexual.
Well, the money has to come from somewhere.
No, for sure. And I'm not saying they can't do that, but to open it up with a sponsorship read is a little odd. Like, at least wait through halfway of the video, you know, connect with your audience first. But back to Who Am I Now?
Who are you now?
It reminds me of like Folgers. But that's not the worst part of the opening for this one.
Oh, how it will start. I don't know where it begins. A beautiful mystery now.
Jolt, hair grower.
Now we go to a kid, a boy who's looking at himself in the mirror with hair growth formula.
That's not how you put on a bra, sweetie.
I try to see my face in the glass. I call my own name, but the answer's the same. Who am I now? Show me. Who am I now? Who am I now? Show me. Who am I now?
Oh, she's a drag queen.
Show me. Who am I now?
What the hell?
So
what are they teaching?
Who are they now? And they have their own little song too. I mean, how's that for production? So it shows this montage of the kids, like there's a girl and a boy that are like the main characters. The boy is like trying to put hair growth formula on himself.
You know, I remember being that age. Don't you remember being 13 and just wondering when you were going to grow chest hair?
Yeah, and I still haven't. So, you know,
you're still wondering.
I've gotten over that.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, well, there's absolutely more.
Oh, okay.
I just love the theme song though.
Okay.
Can we just replay
that? Was just the theme song?
Everybody. And they cut to what looks like a scene with a teacher who's now talking about puberty.
From infancy to adulthood. In the plant kingdom, what starts as a sapling grows into a tree. In the insect world, a caterpillar goes through a complete change called a metamorphosis. Inside a cocoon. And eventually it emerges as a beautiful butterfly.
I wonder why it couldn't be that easy for me.
Puberty. Anybody know?
Puberty.
That's why. Puberty.
Puberty.
Butterflies get metamorphosis. You get puberty.
Who am I now?
But why is she?
Puberty is a time when your body develops the ability to reproduce.
So it goes on to detail their reproductive systems for a good 10 or so minutes, which we're not going to put you guys through, but they literally go through. And what's interesting is this video is age restricted on YouTube, probably because it starts to label all the reproductive systems.
Oh, well, we don't like to use the word vagina on YouTube.
How dare you? No, it's very clinical in that way, but they're showing this video to both guys and girls. So it's not like they're splitting them up. And again, my experience with the reproductive systems was not great because they literally made it impossible for guys to understand girls. And I went to a Catholic school, so it wasn't good. But then the teacher ends their discussion with,
how about some of the world's most embarrassing questions? You must have some.
No. Saved by the Bell.
Remember, if some of those questions do come up, your parents went through the same thing.
And yet won't answer any of those questions.
So don't ask them.
No, there's so many parents nowadays that still try to get their kids exempt from such classes, but then fail to even talk about or go over any of those kinds of things at home.
Do you think that's because parents are in denial that their kids are ever going to have sex?
Maybe they have this song stuck in their head and they just keep,
who are you now?
So we get some more montages in this one that specifically, and this one was like 30 minutes long in all. I've cut it down just for the important bits. But I think my favorite part is the whole storyline of Who Am I Now? Because then they go back and the kids get to talk to their future self.
That's not my game. That is...
Okay, Mike, you may be bigger, but I'm faster. Much faster, man. Sometimes Mike needs to be reminded, right? This is what you're gonna sound like in a few years.
Wait a minute. You're,
That's right. I'm you in a few years. I'm Steve, too.
Steve
Wait.
too.
If you're an older me, why don't I have any hair on my chest? Is there something the matter with me or what?
No, there's nothing the matter with you. Nothing at all. It's just that some guys have more hair than other guys.
I like that message, but why does Steve 2 have his shirt wide open in front of the kid?
No, I feel like Steve 2 should have had it wider open to show if he had hair or
that's
not.
what you want. That's what
No. I mean, if we're
That's
going to
what
talk
you
about
want.
chest hair, I mean, let's talk about chest hair.
I remember how some days, you know, after school, I felt like I was just bursting with energy. Other times, I didn't feel like doing anything at all.
Same.
Puberty.
I'm still going through puberty because sometimes I just don't feel like doing anything at all.
Life was so boring and dull. I just sit watching TV thinking, what does any of this have to do with me?
Oh, she changes the station to a game show.
Facts, fibs, and fantasies.
Oh.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Facts, Fibs, and Fantasies, the one and only game show where everybody is a winner. Our team captain...
Oh, it's the teacher.
She looks much better.
Come on, Sarah. Come on, Steve. What are you waiting for?
Me?
Yes, we're waiting for you. It's because we all fantasized about being on TV at that age.
That's fair. Yeah. So now the kids answer some very studious questions on this game show.
The first question is for you, Team 1. True or false? Chocolate gives you pimples.
True.
False.
Puberty.
There's no conclusive evidence that any food, including chocolate or fried food, can cause pimples. One major reason for pimples is the increased hormone level during puberty. Hormones cause the oil glands to activate. Oily skin causes pores to clog, which leads to acne. If you wash your face regularly, eat well-balanced meals, you won't have to worry so much about it.
Chill. What kid knows that?
Also, avoid chocolate.
Ready, Team 2? If a person feels restless and uncertain about themselves, something is wrong with them. True or false?
True.
Okay, let's see. I disagree.
The answer's false. Because adolescents who are becoming adults are pulled in several different directions at once. Grown-up feelings and sensations may be in conflict with childhood, causing you to feel uneasy or restless.
Okay,
This
so
is completely normal. Communicating with friends and family may clarify these feelings.
So these are really big, like, psychological terms. I mean, I understand who wrote the script, but they're trying to reach kids. So I'm not so sure all of those big fancy words is going to actually do it.
Who am I now? I will say, yeah, it's a little too forced, and clearly some adults have written these answers.
Yeah.
But the kids are doing their best to.
No, I don't fault the kids.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, is this how kids talk?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And maybe a useful way to relieve tension.
That's right, Steve.
Can you say placating?
My favorite part, though, is probably the way that this one ends.
That's all we have time for today on Facts, Fibs, and Fantasies, the one and only game show where everybody is a winner.
There's a new me now. I can feel it. Got a new way now. I can see. Who am I now? Show me. Who am I now?
If I had a lighter.
Who am I now? Show me. Who am I now? Who am I now? Show me. Who am I now?
Pause it. I think we got it.
Now, this one is called A is for AIDS.
Oh, no.
I hate it already.
No.
And this one is, it was around the AIDS epidemic. So I'm not surprised that such a thing existed.
Really bad Sesame Street. A is for AIDS.
This one is just odd.
The TV commercial being filmed warns the British people about the dangers of AIDS. It's part of a government.
Wait a minute. What is AIDS?
So there's kids around a television watching the news.
The news. Yeah, I get it.
Which I don't know about you. As a kid, I never watched the news with my friends.
Did.
Really?
Because my parents were watching the news all the time.
These are 3 kids by themselves, though.
Well, I know, but let me just educate you here on history.
Okay.
The television only had 4 channels. If the news was on, that's all you watched. You didn't have the choice to go to your closest YouTube video or Netflix.
No, please.
There's 4 channels. The news, you watch it.
Do you guys know?
I'm Ed the Answer, and I can help you learn what AIDS is and how it affects those who have it.
What in the Freddy Fazbear? There's a talking dog on the television who comes out of nowhere.
Well,
and
puppies know everything.
Takes over the TV, it looks like. Continues.
Come into my laboratory and we'll learn all about AIDS.
I can't get past the green carpet, though.
Please. It's a very nicely furnished. What year would you say this is in?
This has got to be 82, 83, right when AIDS
It's
came
color
out.
television.
It doesn't make sense.
I agree.
Wait, what's happening?
Did you ever
they
watch
have a little dance off?
Yeah, did you ever watch 90s kids will understand? You would be watching something and there would be like they would like all transport into a TV. It was this huge trope that happens in like every cartoon. So the kids get sucked into the television to like the animatronic Sesame Street dog lab, it looks like. Whoa!
Where are we now?
This is my special laboratory.
Why does the dog sound like he's had 5 packets of cigarettes?
That's your problem with this?
Yes. Well, that and yeah, well.
Do you not remember Scruff McGruff?
Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
Honestly, though, Scruff McGruff could get it, and they're making those mascots hot. They knew what they were doing.
I'm called Andy Answer.
If you know the answers, can you tell us what AIDS is?
AIDS is a deadly disease that affects many thousands of Americans. People in more than 100 countries have it. At the present time, there is no cure for AIDS.
They didn't say it was a gay disease. They didn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
They didn't pin it on homosexuals,
also
which
fair.
is actually rare for that time. So not too bad. Everything he said was accurate.
Yeah, creepy, but accurate.
Well, I mean, you're trying to relate to the kids.
Doctors now know that there are 2 main activities that can pass the AIDS virus from one person to another. One is by having sex with someone who already has the AIDS virus. Another is by sharing needles. This could...
Wait, Sharon Needles is in this?
Oh my... I'm called Andy Answer.
Tired ass showgirl.
I'm not mad about this.
No, same.
It's very accurate, and they aren't afraid to talk about sex with kids.
Yeah, and this was also back in the day when things like HIV and AIDS, there was so much misinformation and myths that were spread. Like, remember when we did a video on like PrEP, and one of the misconceptions or one of the myths that was being spread at that time was toilet seats, mosquitoes,
saliva,
as well as Pepsi. Remember, they said that somebody contaminated Pepsi. Somebody was spreading this rumor that someone had contaminated a bunch of Pepsi and other like products with
So this is
HIV.
very fact-based so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could occur while people are giving each other tattoos, by being blood brothers, ear piercing, or
Blood
even
brothers.
by using needles to take drugs. But some of you may have heard some stories about AIDS which are not true. So here's Dr. Roger Peaks from Stanford University to tell us some ways in which you cannot get the AIDS virus.
Hi kids, we're here in my laboratory where we study all about AIDS. And I want to tell you some of the ways that you cannot get AIDS. Now you can't get AIDS just by touching someone. You cannot get AIDS by touching, by shaking hands, or by hugging.
I love the infomercial of it all, but why is there a mime? I don't.
You cannot get AIDS by touching a doorknob after someone with AIDS has touched it. You cannot get AIDS by sharing a desk, sharing a gym locker, or using the same toilet that someone with AIDS has used.
Okay, so I'm actually liking this because if their messaging was to kids, it's taking a lot of fear, because truthfully, kids aren't going to be subjected to AIDS unless they're not having sex and they're not doing drugs. So it's taking the fear and the stigma away from AIDS patients and adults who have it.
And I mean, the only way that they would ever encounter a kid with AIDS is generally going to be birth related as well. So they're doing a good job of educating as well as just dispelling any of the myths. While it's not spectacular graphically, it's doing its best to to appeal to children with talking dogs and a doctor who pops in to give actual factual information.
And I appreciate the doctor as a person of color, even back then.
That's all for now. I've got to get back to my work. See ya.
All right. I didn't
like
hate that, and I
one.
really expected to hate that.
Okay, and then this, I hate this one a lot, but I think it just goes to show where we've kind of come nowadays. This was from 2015, I think.
Don't taint it. I'm trying to do these with open mind.
Oh, okay. Well,
Her name, for anyone that's wondering, is Shelley Donahue.
I'm just going to give you a caveat of there's 8.2 million in federal funds to bring assemblies like this one illustrated, and this specific person receives $220,000 per year in the state of Colorado for doing this in front of children.
It's nice to meet you. Thank you. All right. Are you ready for this? Here's your girlfriend. Okay?
What?
She has just ripped off a piece of tape in front of what looks to be a high school student.
She's kind of tall and thin. What do you think? She's transparent with her feet. Look at her curves, Corey. Nice curves.
That piece of tape.
Well, you know what? You're going to have sex with her right here in front of everybody. So I need you to get naked on your arm.
Who says that to kids? Yeah, your face is
I'm
telling me
cringing.
everything that I need to know about your opinion of this
I'm
woman.
cringing.
Uh-huh.
All right, pretend. Corey's having sex. Pretend, okay? The tape just bonded to Corey, and Corey bonded to the tape, right? And it's a good bond. Do you agree, Corey? It's a good bond? Yeah. He's squirming. I know.
I would be squirming too if you were touching me, lady.
Chris, is it possible? Pretend. Is it possible? Could Corey marry this girl someday? Could he? He could. Will he? Not if he's in the national average. So if he's not going to marry her now, what's he got to do to her? Yeah. You're a good guy, and you
Is she gonna pull
volunteered
the
for
tape
me,
off
so
his
I
arm?
just need you to break up any way you want to. But you be kind to her because she's a nice girl. Be kind.
The tape, which is a metaphor for his girlfriend, is now off of his arm.
And probably very hairy.
Corey, she's going to need some therapy. Okay.
Because breaking up with, teenage girls is a fun joke to then talk about therapy.
Uh-oh, what's on here? Hair, skin, DNA, lotion, cologne. Corey.
What's her point?
Not
to date?
Yeah.
I need another healthy male volunteer. Tell me your name. Cooper, nice to meet you, Cooper. Cooper, you're gonna meet her second semester, so get naked on your arm, okay?
This makes me feel gross. Like, this lady gets paid a lot of money to talk to kids, and she's putting tape on their arms and using metaphors that are just...
How many sex partners does your generation have before marriage? 6. So what's starting to happen to the tape? It's losing its ability to bond, isn't it? So is Cooper gonna marry this girl someday? Probably
You
not.
don't
So what's he
know.
gotta do? He's gotta break up. Go ahead, Cooper, be kind.
And why do they have to marry?
This lady is definitely of a certain background when it comes to education.
Yeah.
She takes the tape off of the second arm.
Losing its ability to bond, that's right. This is what happens when we have multiple partners before we get married.
Oh my God.
We turn into tape and we can't stick to things.
Well, so using tape as a metaphor is just completely wrong.
No, yes, completely. But she goes on.
Right now, I want you to see that this is the divorce culture in this nation.
This piece of tape is the divorce culture in this nation. And she gets paid far too much to try to use tape to essentially talk about women in high school. She's equating women to just a piece of tape that needs therapy after being taken off of a
What
man.
if we talked more about how to separate when a relationship ends?
Or maybe we talk about feelings and emotions. Or maybe we don't belittle pieces of tape and equate them to women. Because that's just so It's gross. The way she's like touching the kids in this video and like telling them to get naked is just so inappropriate.
The cringiest thing about this though is this is how I grew up. I grew up in a Pentecostal Christian in a mega church just like that. This was my mom too. They have that super sweet smile and I'm not doing anything to harm you while harming you.
So you're juniors or seniors before you're having your first sex, but you know what? God wants us to wait until married.
God.
This research wasn't out in the 70s when I was messing around.
That's not research.
Based on the theory of oxytocin. When a girl goes through labor and delivery.
Wait. Did you just hear? No. Listen to what she says here. Listen.
This research wasn't out in the 70s when I was messing around. This is new research out of Stanford, based on the theory of oxytocin. When a girl goes through.
No. Okay, and so here's the thing. Here's the tea. The research that she's referring to, the research from Stanford about oxytocin, was a study that was done for people with autism to see how they registered happiness. Not a piece of tape. Like, yes, the research that Stanford did on that taught us how to make ourselves happy and to form interpersonal relationships, but it has nothing to do with your wackadoo God mumbo jumbo and tape. I hate her.
The tape's really got you.
She's.
I grew up with this. There is a certain cadence they have of just being righter than you. You can't argue with me because whatever I'm saying
God
is fact and Jesus supports
tape. Tape. Like, what if it was double back tape? Let's use her metaphor. What if it was double back tape? Maybe
then you'd be in a poly relationship.
Yeah. Let's get the tape analogy going, man. Let's do it.
Painter's tape. It's not as sticky.
What if it's painter's tape? Not as sticky, but still useful.
Yeah.
And protects us from,
your breakups
blemishes.
are a lot softer.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I do like this analogy. Maybe. All that to say, like, we've gone over a lot of really terrible sex education today.
Yep.
And some good, like, to show like how the times have changed. But what kind of instilled, or at least where my mind ended and where I ended up after all of this research and looking into these videos was the lovely John Oliver on a piece about sex education and just how it fails kids in our day and age.
I love John.
But he ends his special with his own little sex education PSA.
Maybe you and your family live somewhere that has good sex ed, in which case, congratulations. But if you don't, this video is for you.
It says abstinence and or sex first. Teen birth control decisions.
Look, no one ever said being a teenager is easy.
You have to face a lot of important decisions. But no decision is probably more important
than the one you'll make about becoming sexually active.
And if you do, there's a few things you should definitely know.
So it has a bunch of movie stars that are likable, comedians, and it just says anatomy.
This is a penis.
This is a vagina.
This is a mouth.
This is a hand.
And this is a butt.
Nice butt.
You can mix as many of these as you feel comfortable with. Hand and mouth would be weird, but you could.
Hand and mouth would be
weird.
You could. But it's fine.
I actually do that all the time.
Ew, where's that hand been?
This is the clitoris.
And these are the testicles. They make sperm. That's pretty much it.
If you want to be abstinent, that's fine.
If you don't want to be abstinent, that's also fine.
Abstinence?
Yes.
Like being a vegetarian.
People should respect your choice.
Some people might make fun of you.
Those people are assholes.
And I think it's very fair to say, like, we're not judging people that want to practice abstinence. Yeah. More so, we're just very bothered by people that try to use tape to force kids to just practice abstinence, because that's some people's choice. Some people aren't sexually attracted. Some people aren't even wanting to have sex, and that's okay because that's their choice.
But we don't want those people telling us we have to as well.
Correct.
The best safeguard against STDs is protection.
Unless you already have an STD, in which case you're gonna need medicine or some shit. I don't know. Fun fact.
The ancient Egyptians put crocodile dung mixed with honey inside a vagina to prevent pregnancy. They're all dead now.
This is an IUD. An IUD goes inside a woman's body and prevents pregnancy from taking place.
They can stay inside you for up to 10 years.
Which is a lot, considering most guys in high school can only stay inside you for a minute or two tops. Right.
I like this kind of education so much more.
It's more relatable.
Relatable, funny, has jokes.
Accurate.
And yeah, it has actual science facts.
This is actually simple. If someone doesn't want to have sex with you, don't have sex with them.
If you
I mean, consent's real simple, and still some people can't understand it.
If you think you might be able to persuade someone to have sex, even though they don't want to, don't.
So if you're not sure if someone wants to have sex with you, ask.
Even if you're kind of sure, still ask.
If someone wants you to do a sex thing you're not comfortable with, you have the right to refuse. Say, I don't care if it's your birthday, Rebecca. I don't want you to put your finger in my butt.
Real quick, couple final things.
Most people will get HPV is both technically true.
And what you tend to hear right before someone gives you HPV.
This is your annual reminder on a What's a Safe Word episode to get tested, please.
If you call it a hoo-ha, you are not ready for sex.
Lube is your friend. Believe me.
If you get a chance to have sex with this man,
Ryan Gosling.
go for it.
The best safe word is hoot nanny.
A big old shout out to John Oliver for putting together not only hot takes, but educated takes when it comes to things like sex, trans rights, and just religious people being hoo-has. But all that to say that I just appreciate how far we've come, but also at the same time hate it. There's so much.
Well, and I'm worried because now with the repeal of abortion rights that looks like coming down, they're making states decide this, and a lot of states are deciding the wrong thing. So the education is going to get even worse. But the good thing that we have on our side is this generation of kids coming up does have Google at its disposal, and that can be both good and bad. There's more education about sex online than there ever was before. I didn't have it when I was that age. And there's always YouTube. Wait.
Is there? I don't know. We'll see if this video gets to stay up or not.
If this is monetized or restricted in any way, shape, or form, there is no YouTube.
That said, please make sure that you are educating yourself, educating other people. And if you have other funny, ridiculous, or even dated and terrible sex education, please send it our way. We love watching these videos.
And if you want to be notified of our next one, ring that bell down below.
But regardless of leaving a comment or subscribing, always have a safe word. And today's safe word is
hoo-ha.
I think it was hoot nanny, wasn't it?
Hoot nanny.
Either way.
Hoo-ha.
Just the fact that safe words get mentioned in sex education is so helpful and nice to see.
Consent. It's simple.
And we will see y'all next time.
Bye.
Would you have sex with Ryan Gosling?
Absolutely. Who wouldn't?
Just asking. Not everyone wants to have sex, okay?
I think they'd all make an exception for Ryan Gosling.
Well, that's fair.